All right, what's up, guys? I'm Connor Ferguson here for the latest episode of the Always Race Day Asphalt podcast, joined by Noah Nilsson and Caleb Sloha. I always get Caleb's name wrong, but that bit is over because we've entered the NASCourt every day. We're doing court talk, and today was the most electric day of all of them. So we're going to focus this episode on pretty much just today. Richard Childress and Steve Phelps completed their testimonies, I believe is the word I'm using. Caleb, you stop me if I do the wrong word. Just same to you, Noah. But yeah, excited to talk about it. It sounds like it was a pretty eventful one. And tried to do as much prep as I could between. We're on hour 4 of radio today. I'm gonna be a soft, just gonna be soft and complain about it a little bit. But before we get started here, I want to thank Chris Weiser and the Weiser companies for hopping on board. They came on board during the Knoxville Nationals this year, made our biggest 10 days of the year just a little bit bigger. And I should put this in here. And we've been keeping things under wraps for 2026 for a while now. But the radio station I work at, KXNO, is putting a Always Race Day show live on the weekends for the Metro Des Moines area, a lot bigger than that. I believe around the Des Moines, around the central Iowa area, we'll have an hour-long show on the weekends with KXNO. So I feel like we're close enough to there that we can announce it. My buddies Glenn Saville and what is Brett Twellmeyer, Iowa State grad. So they're both helping me out. Being co-host of that because my guys here have jobs. We all have jobs. And we're just trying to make some money, just trying to do some cool stuff. So really excited for 2026. Can't wait for you guys to listen to that. And I'm excited we have another outlet to spread the love on with Always Race Day. So without further ado, let's get into this thing. As always, we tell our commenters to leave us some comments. And JoJo texted me 5 minutes ago asking if we're on for tonight. And he said, please send me the link. And it's the first comment. He says, hurry up, let's get the show on the road. And I love the energy, JoJo. Thanks for coming on. He's our number one fan. It's unequivocal. And now I've got to text the other people I usually text once the show starts that we're on. So Caleb, Noah, how are you guys doing? I need some personal life updates. And a cool fact about yourself.
I like turtles.
There you go.
You're doing the turtle vine guy.
Yeah, I'm busy and I'm tired. Besides the radio deal, we've got a lot of fun stuff cooking for Always Race Day.
Caleb has been working on the other stuff I've been hyping up. So everybody yell at Caleb.
Yeah, so we're getting there. Should have some more of that news coming, but yeah, super excited for 2026.
This might be not an asphalt pod thing, but we will have a Chili Bowl driver team chart next week.
That'll be very nice for me. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I like pretty formats with things, and I did one a few years ago. I think I did the 2 years I went, and it got a lot of people really liked it. They also said I didn't know much about dirt racing. And some of those comments were probably correct. It was like my first or second year on the beat. So I'm reaching for less of those this year. Pennsylvania.
I will be taking all of those from you probably.
Well, you can, as long as we don't have Noah Nilsson says an analysis by each team competing at the Chili Bowl, I think you're good.
All right.
Gosh, Glenn. Sorry, I'm doing many things. Are you guys doing good?
I had to evacuate my movie theater 3 times in the last 24 hours.
And what? Noah manages a movie theater. That's his claim.
It was on fire only one of those times, but the alarm went off all 3 times.
It was on fire?
Yeah, we had a rooftop unit caught fire on the motor, and so it was this horrible burning smell in my office, and I was like, it's getting worse. So then we figured it out. Yeah. So that was super cool.
What is a rooftop unit? How does it catch fire? Well, it's
So-
just an engine, right?
HVAC. So it's just there's a big giant motor that turns on an HVAC machine, and it caught fire. So very cool, very fun, exciting stuff. My head hurts, and I'm very tired.
And
Yeah,
you are
he
not.
doesn't want to admit that he just burnt the popcorn, and that's what it was.
We have had a popper fire before. Those are sketchy, man. Like those are grease oil fires. Those are sketchy.
Those are the bad ones.
Oh yeah, I mean, because the kettle on a popcorn machine usually burns about 550 degrees. At it's the highest that I've seen at least, and so your popcorn's done popping about 400, 420 right in there, and so it gets pretty hot. Basically, is my point.
It got pretty hot in NASCourt today.
It sure did.
Childress and Steve Phelps testifying. We're going to go with the big stuff. I guess we don't really have chronological stuff. We weren't there. And Bianchi and Gluck were selfish. Didn't start their recap show till 6:15. They want to have stories up or some shit. But I've been following them and learning stuff about this case. I've passed the 5-minute mark. Don't scoff at me like that, Caleb.
I didn't even react.
No, it's okay.
If we're going to start with the biggest news, I'll break it. Chris Wright full-time in the Truck Series next year.
It's one of the I don't want to crap on a guy just to crap on a guy, but to be bad at your job and just keep it amazing stuff. I think a lot of people out there envy that for sure.
Yeah, definitely think that. And then, okay, so he's going to be full time in the 81 for Bill McNally. Definitely some money moves, and that's.
I did not. Okay, so I didn't see this when it got posted. I am shocked it's in that truck.
I'm not.
Money.
Yeah, money, I guess.
You want some real good breaking news as we're talking about money moves. Let's talk about Nick Sanchez
Getting booted at the last minute.
getting booted out of a ride, and the person that seemed to be replacing him is
Caleb, your mic is
Caleb,
gone.
you just got turned into fucking TV static, my guy.
I don't know how.
Oh, you're good now?
That was scary.
No, there's nothing on my end. I don't know. But anywho, so Nick Sanchez bumped out of the ride, and the guy who's allegedly replacing him is wild. So that's kind of interesting.
Minnesota Wild, like Kirill Peterson. Maybe
no,
get back.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
What's the leader in the clubhouse?
You can't start. No, I'm not going to get those references there, Chief.
What is the rumor?
It's Patrick Starpoli has bought the
Allegedly.
Oh, okay.
Nothing official, but
Wow.
allegedly. Highly rumored and speculated.
I don't know what we can do to end pay-for-play drivers, or at least limit them. I don't
It's-
know what we can do.
Permanent charters.
When they announced that Sanchez was getting the boot, I said, if it's not Heim taking that seat, it's a loss. And yeah, it's definitely a loss. Sanchez really did solid in that car. So
He won.
yeah, but I mean,
Nobody else had done that unless your name's Tyler Reddick.
No, getting a win in any series like that, you're a race winner, no matter what.
Yeah, no, I'd say
It puts you above the rest of the field, and typically you're not racing in a field where there's 70 races in a year like they do in sprint cars. So when there's 23 and you won one, like that's a big deal.
yeah, it's unfortunate for him. Hopefully he can find somewhere to slide into because he's definitely a solid driver.
Another story from today that does not involve the court. Frankie Muniz is going to be back full-time in the Truck Series next year. He said he was ready to retire. He's doing like a touring car series. There are a lot of letters and numbers next to each other. It confused the hell out of my ADHD, and I did not think to write them down. But so yeah, cool to see him back. Hopefully he gets better. He wasn't very fast. I'll come out and say that. But it's it's a name either way, especially at Daytona when he finished 10th or 11th at Daytona, and we can start the NASCAR season. I'm telling my friends like Frankie Muniz just 11th in the AA Truck Series race.
I wouldn't even say he was slow either. I think he was solid given the equipment he was in. Not trying to.
Yeah, he was definitely okay.
You can say that. You can say that and not feel bad.
Well,
everyone's trying their hardest. It's not like they're not trying to be fast. It's not like they're slow because of a fault of their own.
No, yeah, I mean, I think considering he did fairly decent, and he definitely did not have the luck side of things either. Like, it was just bad from a luck side. But after I talked with him a couple years ago at Iowa, I think he would also tell you, like, it was not the season that he wanted. It was not, where he thought, because he very much was a person that said, I'm here to, make this on talent. And if I'm not able to do that, then I'm not going to do it. So, he's not going to just buy his rides in and, stick around forever. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he can do this year.
All right. That's the silly season news for today. It has been a slow, steady stream. And all those broke today, which I think are funny. But we got NASCAR executives. I keep wanting to call him Steve France, Steve Phelps, and obviously the team owner Richard Childress Racing and Richard Childress testified today, and there was a ton of I almost said backlash, stuff that fell out of this, for lack of a better nickname for it, because there definitely is one. Ton of fallout there. Yeah, Bobby Pierce, shout out his paint scheme this weekend was Fallout the video game. But Caleb, Noah, you guys, your call on what we're starting. We can start with
I didn't write the rundown.
From him. I got a quote from Steve Phelps that I saw today, and this is I quote tweeted and said Jesus Christ. And typically I will give a little bit more analysis to my tweets, especially the motorsports ones, because there's a lot of people that follow me that are Iowa State fans, and I'm excited. We got Logan Schuhart on the Dirt Show later. He's a huge Penn State fan, so you guys can listen, but like have a Kleenex ready, and like they might want to throw stuff at me after the first 5 minutes of the show we're going to do. But Steve Phelps on the next gen car was quoted in court today saying, I believe this is the safest car in all of motorsports. And holy shit.
That wasn't even
they were supposed to lie.
Well, that wasn't even the worst part. Apparently, when he said, it was pretty safe except for a couple small hits. And apparently that got like an audible reaction from several motorsports members. Good.
And no quiet in the courtroom. There should be student sections in the courtroom reacting to these things.
Do you think Kurt Busch thinks it's the safest car in
motorsports?
I love that they asked that.
Do you think they filmed Full House or Friends without a live studio audience? They did, for a reason. White people need to react to stuff. I'm just kidding.
It's not supposed to be an entertainment show, although it is.
Well, that's what NASCAR is now.
Didn't know that IndyCar raced at ovals and Formula One did not. So come on. We have the biggest idiots running our legal system that don't even know that.
I think it's important to note. So, it was brought up. I wonder what Kurt Busch thinks. Kessler did a good job of asking, if, he knew who Kurt Busch was, and
Kessler
basically
being NASCAR's attorney. Sorry, not NASCAR, the team's attorney.
Basically got him to admit that, Kurt's career ended because of a concussion in one of those cars. So, one tweet I want to bring up from our buddies at the Loose Fast podcast. It says, and I'll just read the whole thing. It says, "Oh, cool. So now we're just making shit up. Sincerely, Eric Jones, fractured vertebrae. Noah Gragson, concussion. Alex Bowman, concussion. Kurt Busch, as you mentioned, concussion. Oh, yeah, not to mention the testing crash that allegedly knocked William Byron out cold.
Oh, yeah. Not to mention all the crash test dummies whose computer chips said they died on impact at the Talladega tests.
Oh,
Hell,
God.
we can even throw Cody Ware in if you want after he broke his ankle crashing one at Texas. Should we keep going? Miss us with that safest car shit. And I loved that because that was all the reasons to bring up about this car. And he didn't even bring up that they were randomly catching fire a couple years ago. Do we remember that? That they just
I think they're still doing it.
into flames. God, I don't know how you can get away with that and not get what do you call it, Noah? No, give me the you lied in court.
Perjury?
Perjury. I'm calling for perjury.
Well, and let's be for real. Like, those are fine excuses to make. You know, like, racing is dangerous, incidents are going to happen. But, I mean, it just has been such a rash of injuries that I feel like we haven't seen in NASCAR in a hot minute. So it's to say that it's like the safest of motorsports, let alone even the safest NASCAR car that we've had in the past 20 years. Like,
I think it's the least safe of the last 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's
too rigid of a suspension, man. You fucking like you're gonna get your spine turned into sand. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, it's just like it is objectively not true. Like, there is, I mean, monster trucks exist. I think monster trucks are the safest motorsports in the world. It's Tom Mintz. That's end of list. That's the amount of. It probably isn't. I don't pay attention to it enough to know how many guys have gotten injured in the last 3 years. But full roll cage around them and bouncy tires and a very safe. Like, anytime they wreck, they turn the truck off. Way smarter, way safer. I will get this at some point. Hour 4 radio, folks. Way safer than the next gen car. It's not even comparable. I can't believe it came out of his mouth.
So what? I mean, what would your reaction be if he just said something along the lines of, "Yeah,
I got a Facebook like for that. I love when that
we've had some challenges, but like we feel like we have a safe car," rather than just coming out and saying we have the safest car at motorsports.
He's doing it seems like a Donald Trump, like, I'm going to have the biggest speech. It's going to be heard by the most people. That's all it sounds like. And especially when we're not watching it and we don't have the audio clip, got to be legendary if someone just snuck a recorder in there and just posted it like a year later.
It would be highly illegal, but it would.
Don't do that. I'm not encouraging that. Please don't do that or influence the jury. Sorry.
Do not break the law. Do not break the law.
Told me I had to cut it out with that stuff.
wild.
The thing from the testimony, I think, as far as NASCAR executives go, that I say has surprised me. It also hasn't. The fact that, like, a lot of them just don't know what's going on, it feels like, based on their answers. Like, Kessler will ask them a question. Their answer is, "Oh, I don't know." Well,
and I think
I
that's
wasn't aware.
kind of like the lawyer. I feel like they told him, like, it's better you say you don't know. And you can always default to that, especially if you don't know specifics. If you say you know stuff, and then you got to bring a number up. Like,
I mean, they're under oath. Like, they're technically supposed to just tell the truth anyway.
Not that why I call for the P word, but that's why I call for it.
It's just like it's a shame that something that people are so passionate about that people, like, there are people in the pipeline that will forget more about racing than some of these guys might ever know, and they get on this stand and they're asking them questions about the inner workings of the sport, and their answer is, "Well, I really don't know." You get paid $500,000 to fucking know, buddy. What do you mean?
Well, and I think the important thing of that too was, so on top of Phelps and Childress, we also got the beginning of Jim France today. And I feel like the team's lawyers, especially Kessler, have kind of set the idea in court that Jim France is the head honcho. And
well, that hasn't been proven yet. That was something that Gluck and Bianchi brought up on their show early tonight. I was listening to that up until I sent you guys the link for this show, just to get as much, like, prep work in as I possibly can. And especially, like, the two guys in the courtroom, I'm not there. So this is Jeff Gluck's tweet after court adjourned. Is that right? Yeah. Look at me. Me getting better.
Doing good. You're 2 for 2.
Gluck says, court is done for the day. I don't think I'm underselling it to say Jim France's testimony was shockingly bad so far. Just not good at all for NASCAR, in my opinion.
Well, and that's part of the deal was Kessler has kind of made it. Obviously, we've got the executives that are, a part of this whole thing, but they've kind of made it the buck stops at Jim France. And we've seen that in some of the charter agreements, some of the, stuff like that, that the buck stops at Jim France. They got Jim France up there today, and it was a lot of I don't knows, I don't remember stuff. I think it was like him being asked how much he makes or like what Lisa France Kennedy
He couldn't even talk about how much she made or what her job title was.
Yeah. So like, I mean, when you're kind of hyping this dude up to be like, hey, this is the guy running the show, for better or less better words. This is the guy that's in charge and running the show. And then you put him up there and he just kind of sits there, like it's not a good look. So we'll see what he kind of does tomorrow when he's got the nice people asking him questions. But yeah, I mean, we've seen it so far. I mean, there's not been anything that's just been like the smoking gun in this trial, but again, it feels like NASCAR might get in a slap or two, and then the teams kind of just come in with a right hook, and it's slowly been detrimental, I think, to NASCAR's case.
Hey, can you guys take this for a sec? I got to send Logan a link real quick. We're just doing testing stuff, and yeah, doubleheader show. Sorry, 1 second.
Connor's been on the radio today.
Connor sure has.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
So yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to kind of see where we end up. Jim France is the team's last witness. So after this, they are done. I know NASCAR attorneys still have a couple witnesses left and everything like that. They've extended the court by an hour. So the judge is really trying to get this case in as quickly as possible. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, especially with they've got that financial expert, which I think it was that he was getting paid by the teams like
$16.50 an hour.
$16.50 an hour. So $1,600 an hour. If any sponsor out there wants to help me make $16 an hour,
quarter of them. I'll lowball ourselves here.
Yeah, and the NASCAR's got experts too that are probably making about the same as well. But yeah, paying a guy $1,600 an hour to write a 150-page report. I
was doing that shit for free in college, man. Not kidding. Quite, but it felt like it.
But and ultimately, the only thing that the NASCAR attorneys really had was just trying to discredit the expert witness. And I don't know really, without being in the courtroom, it's hard to say if they were successful at that. And we'll get into the Childress stuff too, but it kind of just seems like NASCAR's only strategy with most of these teams' witnesses is just to try to discredit them. And I don't think it's came off well at all yet.
The thing really that this I feel like is boiling down to right now is you have the teams and their questioning of every witness has been basically, you have colluded to build and consolidate power to keep your monopoly status. And you have done things that are keeping people from competing with you intentionally because you are afraid of threats. And NASCAR, their questioning of everybody has been, well, you don't know how to manage your money. So like, that's on you, man. Like, well,
yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
Every person, it's basically like, well, why can't you make money? Why aren't you making money? So, and we've kind of seen that too of, Denny and Michael Jordan are in this and they're saying, hey, we're investing in the sport. Where's our return on investment? And then you've got, I have to watch, I called him Bob Jenkins earlier. And I called him Bob Levine earlier.
Oh God.
And yeah, Bob Jenkins. But like, so in the front row case, he basically said, yeah, I'm, out here kind of doing this for fun. I'm losing money at it, but I've got these other businesses to support it. Richard Childress also today said, yeah, I'm losing money doing this racing thing. I've got other businesses to support it. So, I think it's the common theme across the board. It's not, what was the stat too? Like in the last couple of years, 75% of the teams have lost money like every single year, something like that.
All of the teams that signed the charter agreement, more than half of them no longer exist. Like the original charter agreement in 16. There's your stat. What's the old saying? Like, how do you make $1 million in racing? You start with $1 billion. Like everybody knows that this shit's expensive, but NASCAR, the question really is whether NASCAR is doing everything they can to alleviate that, to try and give them the best chance. And I think that so far people are not feeling that they've done that.
Yeah, I don't think that NASCAR has really helped to prove that. And that's the thing is if NASCAR was in such a good position to say, hey, we haven't colluded, they could have the argument of like, here's all the great things that we've done. But I feel like they can't do that because they're so backed into a corner of trying to say we haven't, been colluding to, try to throw everybody
instead,
off.
We're bitching about SRX and emails and getting mad about it looking like NASCAR, basically. And then we're getting mad and shutting the RTA down for wanting to do a summer dirt series. And that's what prompts the exclusivity talks for NASCAR and the tracks, which, by the way, is anti-competitive.
And that's something that came out today as well. The Race Team Alliance, there was talks about them trying to start like a summer dirt series. Apparently NASCAR basically, again, like with SRX, basically said, hey, we got to shut this down. And, then started the exclusivity with the track. So I don't know how you're going to sit and say that you're not anti-competitive when somebody sneezes in your direction and you're threatened by it. So it's not, it does. I think the stuff with SRX, the stuff with the Gibbs camp basically saying we felt like we had a gun to our head, and Joe Gibbs basically pleaded with France not to, make them do this. And they basically signed it because they were forced to do it. And then, you bring in the stuff like the RTA. It screams anti-competitive to me.
No, I absolutely would agree. So, you got anything else you want to add before we talk about old Richard Childress?
No, I was going to go to Childress next. Connor, did you want to add anything regarding NASCAR clearly being anti-competitive, but not being anti-competitive?
Yeah, it feels like that part of this is over. And I wanted to pose the question, what does the case turn into now? Just the court proving that and NASCAR being able to appeal it to the Supreme Court?
I would say
it's anti-competitive. It's not just that they're a monopoly. That was proven very early.
That what they've done violates Section 2 of the Sherman Act. That's the question. Okay. And so that's what they're still trying to prove. I wouldn't call it wrapped up by any means. But it looks a little grim.
I would say it's nothing's ever for certain, right? When you've got humans that are deciding, and
no, that's why they play the games. And there's a lot of bad referees that could potentially be out there. We don't know. We've never seen them ref a court case.
Yeah, we're not in the courtroom, so it's hard to know, how certain things have come off to the jury and stuff. We just get it really on, we read it on text, so it's for us to decipher.
There was a question brought up by Gluck and Bianchi of I think they're comparing NASCAR to F1 in certain instances here, and I believe NASCAR is arguing for them to compare it to IndyCar. That's where the judge got brought up. That was like the last thing I listened to before I hopped on here.
I know the team's financial expert was kind of comparing to F1. Listen, it's kind of hard to compare to IndyCar when you look at IndyCar.
I think it's easier to compare to IndyCar to NASCAR than it is Formula One.
Noah, do you know what NASCAR's TV deal runs?
As far as numbers or length?
Numbers.
No idea off the top of my head.
I mean, it's in the hundreds of millions. I know that.
That.
So it's like 100, 200 million, something like that. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sure F1. I'm sure F1 is in the hundreds of millions as well. Connor, do you know what IndyCars is with Fox?
I think they took a lot less money to be on a lot bigger TV channels, correct?
8 million.
I wish it was only hundreds of millions of dollars on the.
That's like half a BCS bowl game 10 years ago, though.
What did Noah find?
Noah found 7.7 billion.
But that's across how many years, though?
Through 2031.
So 6 years.
On average, you're 1.1 billion a year.
Okay, so in the billions, okay. That's
the figures are ginormous.
Good too. And so you're comparing a sport with a billions TV package, a sport with a billions TV package. You cannot compare that to an $8 million package.
Yeah, and I suppose, and I would see why NASCAR would then argue for IndyCar. That makes sense. Because what I was comparing, they race on more ovals, they race in the United States. Obviously, they don't do as well on the TV number side of things, but I also don't think there's a close comparison that, the Xfinity series isn't, it's minor league NASCAR, it's still the same thing. And aside from the Indy 500, IndyCar is behind the Xfinity series in TV ratings, and F1's probably right in the same area of each of the two of those. But yeah, no, I was strictly looking at facts, and my bad, because that's court is about, well, other things, but proven things, I guess.
I think where it just got brought up though is in the TV numbers, especially because that's where the bulk of the profit comes from. So in that realm of things, I think it's a closer comparison. If you're going to talk more about like kind of the competition side of things and everything, then yeah, IndyCar would be like the closest, I guess, for lack of better. But that's because we will never know, because we can't get any other form of racing in the United States because NASCAR continues to shut them out.
I'm with you. Who do we got else? Richard Childress from today.
Yep, that's where we're at.
Also, I told you wrong before the show because I forgot that Jim France testified at the end. That they were both done. I was saying those two were both done. So I think Jim France has more of his to go tomorrow.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, he'll get redirected tomorrow.
He gets nice cop tomorrow.
It's called being redirected.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you say when you're standing in front of a hockey net and you hit the puck with a stick off a slap shot.
Well, because what happens is
they can't be making up words like perjury and then stealing our words.
Stop.
They gotta figure it out. Choose a lane, Court.
I guarantee that those are probably words that have been used long before.
A lot of hockey left.
No, it's called redirected because you're at, the opponent has questions to ask that are going to try to bring out bad answers. So you're trying to redirect the jury, back to your point. So, that's going to be what kind of happens. And then from here also we'll have, kind of friendly people towards the NASCAR side. And I think the game plan, again, not a lawyer, but I think the game plan is going to be try to bring in anybody that can kind of argue on NASCAR's side or talk nice about NASCAR. So I don't know how they're really going to accomplish that. I mean, even Rick Hendrick, in his letter, he said that despite winning 2 championships in the last 4 or 5 years, they've lost like $20 million.
Was the number, yeah.
So, we're not making money here. Like, and at some point you can't say, I don't know why you guys can't just figure it out, but also play by our rules or get the fuck out. Like, it's just not gonna work. But so anywho, Childress today, I thought it was not as exciting as we hoped.
Really,
it just he
that
wasn't.
That sounded like I said really, and I was about to say information. But I haven't looked at all the complete information that's come out about this, but everyone that was there was tweeting that it was electric.
Well, and I think just as far as like him, but he was well behaved.
It was not nearly as salacious, I think, as we were hoping
I think we expected him to come in more with a fire under his ass than he did, but that was good, and I'm sure he probably got some instruction of, hey, things are going really well for us right now. Please don't fuck it up. So,
not to mention the fact that if he's considering legal action of his own, he's gonna have to play nice so that they don't later on go, hey, remember when you were a huge dickhead when you were getting cross-examined? So
we did, kind of backing up a little bit, the texts about Richard Childress that Phelps said, the context and everything was brought up to Phelps. They were not shown to the jury, but it was acknowledged by Phelps, and Phelps said that I don't remember what the exact words are, but he regretted it and apologized to Childress back in September.
Back in September, he apologized.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder why he would just randomly apologize for those texts in September, if not because they were coming out in November.
He said, "Oh, those were discoverable. Oops."
No, that's why it was going to be discoverable. So he wanted to get to Childress and basically say, "Hey, just know this is coming out, and I'm sorry." So yeah, it's ultimately
all-time bungle, and the jury doesn't see it, which I can't, in good conscience, agree with.
Well, because there's rules to court.
They had to agree, like they had to say, yeah, we won't bring this up as part of the agreement. Like
my idea of court is just we sit 2 kids in a room, they take an edible, and in an hour we get to the bottom of the argument.
Okay, well, so now we've talked about trying to bribe a jury, and now we've talked about giving kids edibles. So that's
substance
edible food. Food's edible. Just so you know.
I am the closest thing we have to a lawyer, but boy howdy, I am not the legal department. So if we could just tone that back.
Do not influence the jury, whatever you do.
Anywho,
my direction to you guys.
So Richard Childress, he also Childress did not have comment about the text messages after he left court. He said no comment, which again, if you're thinking about legal action, is a good way to, keep yourself out of trouble. I don't know. Did you guys have anything specific from the Childress deal that you wanted to bring up?
Just the fact that he talked about selling, I thought was interesting, that he really considered the last couple of years taking his ball and going home.
Well, and was he thinking about selling? So basically, it came out that Childress only owns 60% of the company. There's an investment firm or whatever in New York that owns the rest. They have talked about trying to get out of the sport. I don't think they can find anybody that wants to do it. Childress is talking about selling all or part of his shares in the last couple of years and had a potential buyer that ultimately fell through. But that has also led to more animosity after the courts got out. There was discussion between both the lawyers and the judge as well. NASCAR already being in hot water several times for kind of saying things in front of the court that they shouldn't. And Richard Childress was pretty fired up because talking about specific details of the potential sale were covered by NDA, and him and Kessler didn't think that should have been brought in front of the court.
And that is still a point of contention, I think. Is that correct?
Yeah, I saw one part that basically the judge told the lawyers that they need to work it out and figure it out. I don't know exactly, again, not the lawyer, so I'm not real familiar with how exactly that's going to work.
Adam Stern tweeted on this and said team lawyers said they were miffed by NASCAR's lawyer having the document about Richard Childress possibly selling part of RCR, and said it may have been improperly shared due to it being under a non-disclosure agreement, and asked NASCAR to identify the source who gave it to them.
Interesting.
It baffles me. Like, does that seem like a good idea?
The form that violates an NDA being used as evidence in court. Ooh-wee.
Oh, it's, what is your move if you're behind in this thing? You got to go to the trick plays that don't typically work.
Something evidentiary violations.
Here's the thing though. Okay, so here's what I'm going to compare it to. This is going to blow the freaking internet up. Probably not, but if you have already been in trouble with introducing evidence when you're not supposed to
at 2:52 a.m. That was the thing that happened, by the way. The judge was pissed off. He came in Monday like red hot. Just do we submit evidence do we submit objections at 2:52 a.m.?
Apparently they submitted it at like 2:52, but then like took it back at like 6 a.m. So like it wasn't even a thing that needed. Yeah. Anywho,
no chance the same person put it in and took it out. No chance at all. That was someone on their high horse at 2 a.m. Not accusing them of being peppered or drunk, as the kids call it, but that person 6 a.m. woke up with sober mind and was like, no, sir.
But here's what I'm going to compare it to. If you've already been in trouble for bringing evidence that you're not supposed to, you should not bring more evidence that you're supposed to. I would compare it that you're not supposed to. I would compare it to when you jump the second to last restart of a giant race and you get in trouble for it. You know what you probably shouldn't do on the next restart? Jump the restart.
Well, most people, NASCAR and jumped restarts, poor history to bring up, Caleb.
We're not talking about NASCAR.
Right? So. I got your back, buddy. I got your back still. Let's call NASCAR history. We need to go to court about that next.
Connor, you heard it here first, folks. Connor does not watch the Snowball Derby.
I heard about the Snowball Derby.
That's what I
was on the radio and I didn't realize it got rain delayed. I'm bad at Asphalt late models, and you guys don't text me anything about them. I'm over here like, who's Joe Shearer? Help me get to know your sport, and you're like, well, let's text in our group chat over here and not tell Connor about it.
Well, that's because we have told you several times, and then you still don't know. But here's what I'm going to say.
I know him now. God,
those poor people this weekend. So for reference, tonight
we're on the Snowball Derby now. This is our halftime segment of the lawyer.
Yeah, and we'd be over it if you stop interrupting me. We'd be over it already.
Gee, well, it went over my head.
Those poor people that were in Pensacola this weekend. Tonight, they are running the support divisions. It is Tuesday night. They're running the support divisions that they were supposed to run on Friday night.
That's evil.
It was so bad. They
take people that didn't watch the race and tell them what the restart flaw. I saw the replay. I take people and recap the whole thing so that the people that didn't see it know what's going on here.
Okay, so Preston Peltier and Ty Majeski led the field to the green in the 300 lap. I'm just kidding.
Oh, you were going to read this from lap 1 to 300? I've been electric.
Basically,
I keep the stream going. We'll let you go, and I'll be back for the end of it.
Yeah, I'll go take a nap.
Basically, Ty Majeski had the most lights-out dominant car in the 300 lap race, and Stephen
He's
Nass,
the defending champ, right?
Oh, don't do that to me.
I'm sorry. My bad.
No, he's not, because it's
look it up for me.
Honeycutt.
Stall.
Honeycutt. I just answered it.
You sound like an Iowa wrestling fan in the stands.
There's no reason for him to. There's no reason to stall because I answered it. It was Honeycutt.
Gotta suck to be them if they're listening to this, hearing about the Iowa State winning the Cyhawk duel again.
Okay, Connor's muted for the next 60 seconds. So Ty Majeski had the most dominant car, and there was a caution that had came out with 10, 15 to go. Stephen Nasse, super fast, has tried to win this race for 15 years, hasn't been able to do it. So he's catching Majeski, caution comes out, Nasse's going to restart on the outside. The rule says that entering turn 3, you can start to gradually speed up, and then when you're in the box, you can punch it and go. That makes total sense to me. Apparently it doesn't to half the internet, but that's not a surprise. So the rule is entering 3, you can start to speed up and then you can punch it. So on the first one, it's like over a car length. Majeski punches it, gets away. The restart's called back. They warn Majeski, and then we go do it again. This time, it's about a quarter of a car. I mean, it's not much, but Majeski punches it before the box, and he was black flagged. People are really upset about it.
That the leader starts the race. I'm dirt racing on this. This is absolutely an avoidable thing. The Nick Hoffman was talking about this on Twitter. Talking about they had a late model race at the Dome at America's Center, no longer I think it was the Enterprise Center or something a few years ago, and it was something different. The Gateway Dirt Nationals they enter turn 3 and you go on the leader's gas. So once the leader hits the throttle, and you can try to time it out if you're the guy in second, sure. It's not going to be easy. That's for sure. But that's who starts the race. That's who initiates. We're going to go now. And I think Ty Majeski was robbed, to put it simply. This isn't the race with Tech Shed Joe, is it?
It used to be,
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to I called him something else, and I forgot what it was. So, JoJo, I apologize. Tech Shed Ricky is what I called him. Tech Shed Ricky stole the show after the Snowball Derby every year and had a completely torn down freaking inspection process that it made him look like the star of the show. And part of that is because Matt Weaver is just very good at his job and does.
But bring a legal car.
He had a couple of features on Tech Shed Ricky, and that's where I gave him the name, because he gets so much attention for doing the inspection so thoroughly.
But if you're going to make a prestigious
there's both sides of it. I don't like glorifying refs, and that's the bit
race,
part of it. But yeah,
follow the rules, pass tech inspection. Like we're going to make fun of Ricky for doing his job.
Tech Shed Ricky. You got to tell him his name right. Tech Shed Ricky.
Like I saw one comment today, and it was like, well, good race directors, you shouldn't even know that they're there. So, okay. So if Majeski decides on the back straightaway, he's just going to start it. If the race director calls him out on that, that's a bad race director because he made a call.
I hate restart zones. I hate restart lines.
Okay, but here's the deal.
Oh, I know they were there in a thing. I'm not also, you go ahead.
I don't understand. If you were already called out for jumping it, I don't know why you would even cut it close, because there's just,
especially when you're the dominant car.
Yeah.
I did not realize he was called out for jumping it already.
Yeah, the before one really jumped it, and he even
said that. I'm sorry. I've been texting the two guys we're gonna have on the dirt show. Couple of one of them's very smart, one of them's a buffoon. You guys take a guess which one.
Connor's the buffoon.
Well, I'm not texting myself.
You could be taking notes.
It would not surprise me.
You look great today.
Positive affirmation.
Stars are rocking, stars are buzzing. But yeah, so what is your resolution to this? Do you think they will get another form to restart? And is there a new Tech Shed Ricky, and did he take 4 hours?
No, it was surprisingly quick, like kind of disturbingly quick, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's been out of it for a couple of years now. They did say, which this was also something that people were so miffed about, was the race director basically said the corner worker made the call. I'm agreeing with the corner worker. The decision was made. We're not going to reverse it. We can look at it, rewording it for next year or, whatever. And that miffed people too. They're like, oh, so you're saying that it's wrong, but you're just going to wait till next year? No, those are the rules that are in place for this event. I
don't like that. I think they should have had them race it out in real time. Obviously, you jump the restart, you're supposed to get penalized, and you got penalized once. So that changes the whole thing, right? Like, you shouldn't make it close on the second time. And if they think you jumped it again. So what was his penalty? The back of the field?
Well, so he was black flagged, so he needed to come down, and it's likely probably a pass through on pit road or whatever. But that's the other part of this. He refused to come to pit road. He stayed out front the entire rest of the race. Checkered flag falls. He's first, but it had to be given to the second place, across the line. And then Nasty pulls in a victory lane, and Majeski pulls in front of him.
So he won the race on the track, but can the crew chiefs talk to their? Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the series talks to the racers. Nasty can claim that he was not trying to pass him because they said that he was not counted, and so in his mind, he stayed on the track and proved it. Whereas Nasty took the smart route in that situation, I suppose. It's a tough spot for everybody.
Well, I'm going to be honest. Majeski just ran away. I mean, there was no...
Majeski was the best part by a lot.
That's the thing.
That's the other... But Nasty can just say, I wasn't hitting the throttle as hard because I didn't want to wreck.
Well, so that's where the good part comes in, too, is Majeski used about 5, 6, 7 different excuses.
Come on.
Take that.
He used a bunch of different excuses, and one of which, I want Connor's opinion on this. One of his excuses was that they heard on the radio that Nasty was going to try to jump the start, so Majeski wanted to be the first one to go.
So if it doesn't get called, yeah, you're putting yourself at risk. But again, if someone else is going to jump the start, the second you hear them go, you go. That's how you defend that.
It was.
And if they sit there and wait you out and you're across the line, then you can just go. Because it was a clear line on the track, right? It's not like a chalk. I mean, you can see a chalk line anyway, but.
Yeah, no, it was clear. I mean, So
maybe he was worried. I think he was given poor advice there on that, because all you have to do is listen for the other guy's throttle. And once he goes,
the footage is clear as day too, as far as you can see his nose.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah,
he hit the box.
Well, and what's crazy too is, okay, so yeah, you're all worried that he's going to jump you, but like, if this is the box, why do you have to go right here? You've got all this space where you could, essentially make a move. And I get we're couch racing right now, but I don't know why you would cut it so close when you've got such a good car. And he even said, oh, well, it's a cloud on the race now because, it was such a close call and they called me on it. Who put them in that position? Anywho, it's a hard line because I know a lot of people down south and they kind of have their own deal. And then, of course, know a lot of people in the Midwest, Wisconsin, and of course they have a different opinion. So it's Civil War Part 2.
Oh, no. I'm with you. I do have to do this. We have got to get off of here because we are going to switch streams. If you guys ever want the shows combined, if there's enough fans that want it, we'll combine them. And someday we'll probably do two per week of the combined shows. We just have so many fans on different sides that they watch one thing or the other. And that's how we've been doing them. So I set it up to different links. Jojo, you will get a text. Brad, you will get a text. My dad will also get a text. Caleb Noah might. I don't know. We'll see. But join us on our channel. Just go to Always Race Day. The stream is scheduled, so the video is already up. We'll be on in just a couple minutes here. Me and Glenn are going to start the show, and then we're going to have Logan Schuhart on. So thank you guys for listening to
real
one.
quick.
You go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
Do your tribute because it needs to be done.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. Fuck. Now it feels like I forgot it. And we should have led the show with this. Michael Nett passed away over the weekend. And it a really emotional Friday night. I got a buddy moving away that you guys are probably going to hear about on the Dirt podcast. But I've played pond hockey with Michael before. He's a phenomenal human being. Anytime that I'd go up and I probably his PR guy, Hudson Hall, shout out to you, buddy. He probably got annoyed with me asking for interviews with Michael as much as I did because I asked him about every 2 weeks. And Michael didn't hate talking to the media or anything, but when I would come up late in the scrum, his eyes would light up because he knew I was going to ask him, like, what's your best story with Joe Pavelski and what do you think of the San Jose Sharks this year and stuff like that? Because they were teammates. And the one other story I'll share is I was in the basement of my frat house when he won at Daytona, and I screamed so loud that one of the 3 kids that came downstairs to see what was going on this Saturday afternoon at 4:30 or 6:30 Central Time, whatever it was, and he had 911 like dialed on his phone, ready to hit call because he was like, "What the fuck happened to Connor?" And it was just Michael Annette won at Daytona finally. So rest in peace to him. One of the guys I've cheered for harder than anyone else growing up in my life. And it sucks we lost him. And I don't want to make this about myself, but I feel terrible that we didn't get him on our show ever. And obviously you can't fix it now, but no, I love Michael Nett, and I'll always fucking love Michael Nett. So I think that's a good one to go out. Do you guys have anything? Are you good?
No, we can't top that.
Well, thanks for letting me do that. Appreciate you guys.